And this week marks the second National News Literacy Week, where WRTV's parent company, EW Scripps, is partnering with the nonprofit News Literacy Project out of D.C. The goal is to bring awareness that news literacy, spotting misinformation and verifying facts, is an essential life skill. WRTV's Nikki Dementri, with help from the News Literacy Project, is breaking down what news literacy is and why it's so important to you.
We live in the most complicated information landscape in history, and we know that can be confusing. There's so much information coming at us at all times, and so it is critically important to be able to discern what information is real and what information isn't real.
When I say the words news literacy, what all does that mean?
Our tagline is "For a future founded on facts." So being news literate is really the ability to be able to discern what's true and what is not true.
Fact versus fiction. With so many ways to consume news in 2021, it can get confusing.
How we look at fake news is it's actually oxymoron, right? Because we understand that news media and standard-based journalism practices means that things are vetted.
Ebony Rice is the vice president of the Educator Network with the News Literacy Project. She says being news literate is an essential life skill.
It just could not be more important than right now. And we have seen the consequences of misinformation and disinformation being spread online.
Throughout the pandemic, news consumption took over hours of our days as we tried to figure out the latest in this changing world. It was also a time, Rice adds, misinformation ran rampant.
We've really spent the last year really just navigating this very complicated ecosystem, and not just of misinformation online, but also reading that and being consumed with it while you're at home.
That's why Rice says it's critical to know where news comes from.
You should really be getting your news from fact-checked, standard-based news stations.
It's also important to know the difference between national, state, and local news. Each player has a different focus sometimes on the very same topic.
The importance of localized press, local newspapers, and local journalists could not be overstated, and that's for a number of reasons. And one of those differences is having people who are in the community tell stories of that community, that reflect that community.
The hope this week is to educate and inform. Let our fellow Hoosiers know why news literacy is an essential life skill, as well as essential to a successful democracy. So follow along as we continue to share stories throughout this week from our very own home newsrooms. In Indianapolis, Nikki Dementri, WRTV.
And our coverage during National News Literacy Week continues tomorrow on Good Morning Indiana. We take a look at kids and social media and find out how our youth navigate social media and if what they're seeing is accurate.